Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Flux Cyber. I'm Ryan, and this is the start of my journey into cybersecurity. I'm not a professional analyst. I'm just someone who's really interested in learning and applying kind of new skills around technology. You know, everything's cyber these days, right? So that's a natural thing to start looking at. So in this particular season, we're going to be looking at kc7cyber.com, which is a series of games or modules around KQL or Custom Query Language, and that's usually in Azure or Sentinel, Log Analytics, etc. Like I said, for me, this is all kind of brand new, so the idea is to learn together. So I'll share what makes sense, what confuses me. I'm going to work it out, and I'm using this as a prompt for myself, selfishly, to continue to learn and push myself. So I thought, well, if I'm going through that journey anyway, I might as well share it, and hopefully it prompts a few other people to kind of have a go. So on the screen is the kc7cyber.com site. I'd like to thank them for putting this platform up for free. You don't even have to sign up, right? You can just crack on, and then if you want to sign up and sort of track your progress, you can do. But really, this is straight in. It's a really brilliant site. So on the left hand side, we've got kind of the instructions, or the how we sort of walk through each room, and on the right hand side we've got where we put our custom queries and the results a bit further down. I'm hopeful maybe I'll also chuck in some kind of cyber news every now and then, but we'll see where we go with it. But just for me, this is just a prompt for me to continue my learning. So I think really what we're just going to do is just get off and start. So this particular room is Enough Beef for a Burger, and it's regarding two hip-hop artists, Dwayne and Present, and they're in the midst of a bit of a feud, and they've started taking jabs at each other, diss tracks, if you will, through their music. So Dwayne, who's with OWL Records, he was the first to strike, and his newest song was intended to insult his arch nemesis Present, who signed with Dollar Currency Records. However, he's made a bit of a crucial mistake in his verse, right? So as a security analyst for OWL, our job is to keep the company's information safe so artists don't get exposed during this ongoing feud. So we need to start typing Reddit to continue, so let's do that. After dropping the verse, Dwayne had everyone on social media talking and laughing. I'm not rapping this out right, but so I'll just say it. So, yo, Present, you don't know where I'm from. Got the Washington name from my mom's side, son. It makes sense why they call you Present, because you're so easy to beat. It's pretty much a gift. Used to play with little Fluffy, and now I'm running with the Wolves. You say you're on top, but I'm breaking all the rules. I'm on that next level. You're stuck in the past with those weak beats. You won't last. And Look the Rapper has, have you heard of Dwake's new verse? He's totally schooled Present. It's a tweet from Look the Rapper there. So we need to go for bars to continue. So in a fit of anger, Present asked his label Dollar Currency Records to dig up some dirt on Dwake that he could use to retaliate. So your homeboy who works in the cyber underground, and it's, everybody needs a homeboy that works in the cyber underground, right? They give you a tip that you might see some nefarious cyber activity as a result. So you slid him that crisp $20 bill, and he recounted a rumor that he'd heard the DCR had hired a hacker that used an IP, and they give us this IP, which is 18.66.52.227, and you're going to poke around the website in early April. So I'm going to take this IP and I'm going to paste it into my notepad that I've got going, and I'm going to do that so I can obviously refer to it, and then if I need to create a report that goes up to a senior analyst or your manager in general, then as I've gone along, I've kept that data to prepare that report. But we're going to thank we're going to thank our cyber homeboy, and we do thanks dog, to continue. And we've reached level 2. Okay, so at this point, we're going to start digging into the company's data to find clues that will help us solve the mystery. So we're going to use custom query language to manipulate that data. All the stuff, for this particular game is given on the left-hand side. And you can literally just copy and paste it. But to be honest, I don't want to do that. I want to type it in. So for me, that helps me sort of memorize what I need. So in this case, the following query is going to search the information about the CEO of OWL Records. So we need to find that person's name. So let's start by doing that. So we're looking at the employees table, and it's a where statement, and we want role and equals, and then some quotes, and then CEO. So if we run this, it should give us that information. So we can see we've got hire date, we've got a name of Sean Crater, that's obviously what we want. But we've got other things like here, so we've got IP address, domain, usernames, host names, etc. So we've got all this. Just down here you can expand that, and it will give it you in a more list kind of fashion, which is cool. But we only need this, right? So let's just paste that in and submit. And there we go. So that's accepted. So what that does now is gives us a new question that we can start to look through. So you can use the following query to search for browsing activity on the company's website. So in the previous thing it said sort of April, didn't it? So we're going to do that. And again, I don't want to copy and paste what I had previously. So what we're going to do is just go below. If my keyboard works. That's better. So we're going to do inbound network events where the timestamp is between date time of 2024 0401 sorry 10 sorry, and the time is 000000, and then again we want date time 2024 dash what is it? Let's have a look. Let's just go to the right a little bit. 0411. So 04-11, and then the time 000000. So what have we missed? Quotes is what we've missed. So let's make sure let's make sure those are in quotes. Otherwise, it will obviously whinge us for not doing it. So then what do we want? We want to put in the source IP. So we need a pipe, and where source IP has, and then 18.66.52.227. So let's run that. What do we get? Okay, so what's the question then? So how many results did we get back? So we got here 19 records back. So answer is 19. Great. So what I did here is I just highlighted that bit. So I could then, if I needed to, I could have gone back and highlighted that and ran just that particular bit. But yeah, so whatever's highlighted will run and give us what we need. So next question. The results that you're looking at represent someone browsing or searching for information on OWL's website. The operator was clearly looking to find information about various artists who work for OWL, especially Dwake. So thanks to the homie, we're definitely on the right path. So we need to carefully read through the logs to see what the bad guys were searching for. So what piece of information were they looking to get for Drake? It's 2 words that might be used for communication. So what we have to do here is have a look now and see what we've got. So what do we get? We get a timestamp, we get the method, the source IP, the agent, and the URL. I think that's pretty much it, and status code. So it's obviously the URL that we're looking at. So we've got things like what's Dwake's email address, what's the rapper's contact info, contact details, how do I email Dwake, booking info, email directory, book Dwake for a party, Drake's music is so trash, email contacts, booking info, press release, contact us, reset passwords, security questions. So to me, we're looking at these, which is a lot of it the same thing, which is email address. So an email address is two words for communication, right? So let's try that. Email address. Winner. Okay. So let's continue to look at the results from the previous query. The operator also expressed strong opinions on Dwake's music. Well, we spotted that a second ago. So the operator is wondering why Drake's music is so something. So it's this, isn't it? So let's take this and we'll drop this in here. And I'm assuming it's just that last word, right? Trash. And it is. So great. Okay, and we've moved on to level 3. So we will keep playing. So the next question is, at some point the operator discovered Dwake's email address. So what is it? So again, we can have a look through here to see what we can find. So we've got username, email is there. So we'll just copy that in, paste it into here, and we only want email equals. So we'll bin all of this off and submit. Okay, so question 9. The operator then attempted to take over Dwake's account by resetting his password. We know this because of the reset password parameter in the URL, which was down here somewhere. Password reset. When an employee at OWL Records needs to retain their passwords, they must answer a set of questions like mother's maiden name, street you grew up on, child or pet, colour of your first car. And it looks like Dwake's inadvertently disclosed some of this information in his last verse. And yeah, okay. Well, I'm not wrapping this again, so we'll just pick out what we need. So you don't know where I'm from. Got the Washington name from my mum's side. There you go. It's 1. Makes sense why you call you present, because you're so easy to beat. It's pretty much a gift. Used to play with Fluffy, and now I'm running with the Wolves. So you're on top, breaking all the rules. Sat at next level, you're stuck in the past with those weak beats. You won't last. So used to play with little Fluffy. So that's child or pet name, mother's maiden name. So the question is, which of the following did Dwake disclose in his verse? So mother's maiden name is 1. Child or pet name is 3. So the answer will be 1 and 3. So looking at the verse, let's try to figure out what the operator may have tried to use. So we've got all this. So what's Dwake's mother's maiden name is Washington. So let's just pop that in there. And we're on level 4. And what is the name of Dwake's pet? Well, we saw that before. It was Fluffy. Let's get rid of that. And question 12. So the operator used these bits of information to reset Dwake's password using the query from before. We can actually see the adversary doing this. So we've got inbound network events. What do we need though? We need the full URL that shows the operator resetting the password. Okay. Which is reset. So we've got 2, haven't we? I'm going to try that one, because that's got the email address in and everything it needs, isn't it? So let's try that. No. Okay, so it's got to be the other one then, hasn't it? It's got to be that one. It can't be. But yeah, if it's not that, then it's got to be the other one, hasn't it? So let's just bin that one in. No. Okay. Oh, because no, it's this one because he's answered the questions, isn't it? So tell you what, let's try that one. Yeah, there we go. So it's the last one. So how could we have done that better? Can we go? Can we go back a question? We can. Okay. So how could I have done that better? So we use bits of information to reset Dwake's password using the query from before. We can actually see them doing it. Ah, okay. So yeah, so what I could have done, which I didn't read this, is I could have just, tweaked the query. And I suppose that's right? So if this was, 10,000 records, I'm not going to be able to do what I've done, which was just to scroll down and just try to get the right answer, which is a silly way of doing it. So what I should have done is obviously tweaked the query, which is what they're asking and what they're suggesting you do. So that's pipe where URL has underscore any and then quote Washington. I wonder if we can just get, I mean, this has got fluffy right at the end, but I wonder if we could just get away with that. Does that give us anything? It does. So even just having that first line, I mean, we've already got, in fact, actually, yeah, we've already got the IP in there from here. And we've just got that Washington, so it's just give us what we need anyway. So in hindsight being a wonderful thing, yeah, if we'd have gone with this and tweaked the query to what we need, it'd have narrowed that down right to the one record. So that's a bit of learning that we can have to sort of do to take forward. So let's go forward. So after taking over the account, the operator was able to reset the password of Dwake, and the following day, it's Dwake's Instagram account as well. And on the following day, the adversaries posted an embarrassing image. So I'm a terrible rapper and I have ghostwriter to write all my beats. So, oh Lord. So the higher ups at OWL have deliberated the happening in a private meeting, and Dwake himself was obviously annoyed, and he was in that meeting as well. So after many hours of deliberation, they declared it a settled issue. However, they never officially specified how they dealt with it. But on the following day, a random hacker on the dark web threatened to release damaging information on Present the rapper if he didn't announce his retirement in the next 30 days. So what have we got here? We've got it's like a forum post of some description. Present the rapper, we have your dare to pay up. So the 30 days to come up with $10 million worth of Bitcoin. Contact us and we'll give you proof. So Notorious SMALL. I don't think there's anything else in here that we need. Just 30 days and $10 million. Okay, so let's do dark web. Okay, you can't prove that OWR Records Management had anything to do with the dark web post. However, you understand this will spell more trouble. So you're going back and talk to your homie that you slipped $20 to previously, and he suggests any retaliation would happen via phishing. So it's a vague hint, but surely we can do something with it. So let's do it. So we already know one thing about the adversary. They've used IP 1866.52.227, which is here. And we can look at this in the passive DNS table. Okay, so let's do that then. So let's just copy that address because we know we need that. So and let's go down here and we'll do passive DNS where IP equals quote paste. Oh, what did I do there? That's no good, is it? Let's try that again. Let's just copy that. and then run that. What do we get? Okay. So what domain did it resolve to? Well, that's better lyrics for you. Should add that to our notes as well. And we've reached level 5. So let's keep playing. So we've got a domain and things will be a lot smoother from here in. So let's look at the email logs for evidence that this domain was used. And we can use the take operator to look at 10 random rows. Okay, so let's look at the email table. And then we'll take 10 random rows. So what have we got? So what column in the table is most likely to contain our domain? So, I mean, again, this is difficult, right? So, because it's 10 random rows. So it's not necessarily going to be in the sender or reply. You wouldn't have a link in the subject. It's not going to be in the verdict. So, yeah, the link's the only really one, isn't it? That it would potentially be in, because this has got like all the links in, obviously. So let's type link. So let's look for that column in the domain. So we need to edit this, and we can take out this take 10, and we can say where link has, open some of those and have better lyrics for you, and then run it. So again, how many results did we get from this particular query? We got 13. So let's put 13 in there. So we've been fished. So each one of these rows represents an email that someone sent. So which email address was used to send most of the emails? So we look at the sender column. So it's ghostwriter out of those 13. Let's put that in. So what was the other email address used to send these phishing emails? So we've only got 13. Majority of them are ghostwriter. That only leaves that one. So let's whack that one in. So it looks like the adversaries were were targeting users with very particular roles. So let's move down. And what have we got? So which role was targeted most of all? So we need to do a let statement, which, if I recall correctly, is a bit of a variable. So email, and then we need a pipe, and where link has, and then a quote, and wrong one. It is better lyrics for you.com. And then we need another pipe and distinct. So distinct. Okay, so it doesn't like something, does it? Because usually it would fill that in. So why doesn't it like that? So we've got a let target, that equals email. Where link has better you, that right? Looks right to me. And word distinct. So what? It doesn't like something up here. So let's just try again. No, so it doesn't like something up. I know why. If we look, it's not a capital letter. That's it. That's better. So where link has, yeah, this is better. Better lyrics for you. Distinct recipient, and then we need a semicolon, and then we're looking at the employees database, employees table, and where email address and in underscore the target, which was the variable. Okay, so again, we've put that in, we'll highlight it and we'll run it, we'll see what we get. Okay, So what doesn't it like? What have I got wrong? I'm sure there's people screaming right now with what I've got wrong, but I can't see it. Where operator failed. Is it? Well, it's got to be that one, right? So what doesn't it like here? Where email address in targets. I'll tell you what, like we'll do is we'll just move that down. I'm just going to copy theirs and just run it. Right, so there's run. So what is the difference? So let targets equals email. Let targets. There you go. So there you go. There it is. I've spelt targets wrong. Again, I knew they'd be screaming at the screen. Yeah, that's better. So again, like I said, I am not a KQL expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really not. I'm learning this pretty much from scratch. So I will make mistakes, but that's part of the learning process. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a KQL black belt, because I'm just not. Okay, so let's get back to this. So which role was targeted most of all? So if we look at the column rows, we've only got two, wrapper and lead wrapper, right? So wrapper was the one that was used the most. There's an additional role that was targeted. Which role other than wrapper was targeted? Well, again, we only had one, which was lead wrapper, so it's got to be that, right? Lead wrapper. So what was the name of the lead wrapper? So again, what I'm going to do is we could have a million. No, it's not a million, but you could have 1,000 employees in here. So I wonder if we can just tweak this slightly to say where role equals bracket and then lead wrapper. Will that work for us? It will. Okay, brill. So we now know the name as Dwake Audrey. Brill. Level 6. Look at us. So what's Dwake's IP address? Well, we've got that here. So let's just copy that in. So let's look at the emails again. So we need to go back, and this is why I left it where it was. So we can highlight that, run. So what was the subject of the matter that was sent to Dwake? So we know his email address was that one, Dwake Audrey. Again, because there could be thousands in here. So I'm going to just for completeness, I'm just going to tweak. I'm just going to tweak it to say where recipient contains AUDREY. Let's just see if that works. What do we get? Okay, right, so we get what we need. So what was a subject? Well, this is a subject column. So let's copy that. Let's paste that in. Let's submit. So it's likely the adversaries want Dwake to click on a link and feed them his credentials. So what link did the adversaries include in their phishing email? So we need the link column, which is this. Let's copy that. Let's paste that in. So on occasion, our email security product will block suspicious email. In those cases, the end user will never even see it. But what was the verdict? Oh, what's here? The verdict was clean. So if it was clean, it's going to get through, right? So here's the email. So it's from Ghostwriter. I've heard you're looking for a ghostwriter to help with your next song. I'm a professional writer, please find attached my portfolio, and you can click here to schedule a meeting. So what name or nickname did the adversary sign with the email with? Ghostwriter. No, Ghostwriter. So much for that inexpensive mail product, because it looked like it got in, but did he actually click it? So in order to see that, we need to look at the outbound network events to see whether he actually clicked it or not. So have we used outbound network events anywhere? No. Okay, so we need a new one then. So let's do outbound network events, where the URL equals open quote paste. Nope. We need that. We need that, don't we? Again, ideally, all this should be in a notepad somewhere, but try and do that. Maybe on the next one, I'll probably might see if I can share my screen and we'll put some notes together. And then we need a pipe and where the source IP equals 10.10.0.5, and that's not in quotes. So let's run that. So by virtue of it being in this table, he must have clicked it, right? And we see he went to that and it was a GET request, so he definitely clicked it. But when? Oh, we've got a timestamp here, right? So let's just copy that in. So after Dwight clicked on the link in the email, he was presented with the phishing page. What is written in the submit button? Let's make that a bit bigger. So log in to speak with Ghostwriter. So okay, let's do that then. Cool. So now that they've got his credentials, the adversaries would need to validate them by logging in. So we can look at the authentication events to see if the adversaries were able to. So we haven't got one of those, have we? So let's do authentication events, where username equals quote D WAUDREY, and we need to narrow that down by the source IP. So source IP equals, let's open some brackets, and I don't know if I've got it. Let's do 18. Is it come up? No. So 18.66.52.227, which was our attacker's address. Let's run that. What do we get? Oh, so what am I missing? What have I done wrong? Have I spelt this wrong? They've got a lowercase d. Right, okay, so it's a lowercase d. I suppose what I could do is, rather than that, I could have used, can you use contains? Would that give us what we need? I'm not saying that's what we do, but just out of interest. Yeah, so we could have used the contains, I suppose. Let's just put a capital D back in here. Does that still give us what we need? It does. So yeah, I could have used the contains, which would give us the same information. So when? So we need the timestamp. Okay, so what was the result of the authentication attempt? Well, it was a successful login. We'll see that by the result. And now that the adversary is logged into Twit's account, they want to look around for information to steal. So we already know what the IP address is, so we can simply check the inbound network events. Well, we have some inbound events up here, I think. Here we go. So what's the timestamp? Is 12th of the 4th to the 1st of the 5th. So we need to adjust this. So 12th. So the first, so that's 05, and that should be 01. We've got a source IP, which is the same, but we need to change this now to, I'm just going to copy that. We need to change this. So if we run that. Okay, so how many results did we get? Well, we got 10. So that's 10. So looks like the adversaries were searching Dwake's email for sensitive and scandalous stuff, and it looks like they got what they wanted. What is the name of the zip file that they used? Let's have a look. So the only column we've got that will have anything else will be URL, right? That's the only one available. So can we make that bigger? So because I've got limited space and I can't seem to scroll, it's just at the bottom. But again, it's more than I've got. So what I can do is in here, I can put a pipe in and say project and then URL. Now that hopefully should just spit out just the URL things. And there we go. So it's dirty secrets.zip. We paste that in. Get rid of all that. There we go. So level 7. So Drake and Present now have more than enough dirt on each other after some deliberation facilitated by intermediary parties. They've agreed to a truce. So all is balanced again in the rap world until next time. So we need to enter less hack, more love. So less hack, more love. Cool. And we've done it. We've done it. Look at us. Security analyst for the win. Yeah, so there's a few learnings for me in here. Number one is just making sure I'm up to date on spellings, some of the capitalization on especially like the let, the name. So it's just basics for me, I think. So hopefully I'll go through the next one and I'll apply those failings and I'll continue to learn until it becomes a bit like second nature, really, and I'll just know it. But that's the whole point of these videos. It's a prompt for me to learn, and hopefully it's someone that you can learn along with, because I'm like I said, I'm not looking for perfection. I just want to learn. But so yeah, brilliant. I'm gonna look to do the next one. So have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.